That's the kind of stuff I miss.
We were down there all the
Share
30
these on each
seconds.
side whenever you're ready. Again, if you have a question after the microphone, mic on each side.
Go ahead, Evan.
Steve, first day of practice, obviously you can't garner too much, but what are you looking for, and you know, what are you able to actually learn from this first day?
I think the big takeaway for me, both from last night, you know, team meeting and dinner, and today's practice, was just a great vibe, really good energy. Everybody's excited to be here, excited to be playing together. Everyone's excited that Klay is out on the floor. He basically did every single thing in practice today. We didn't scrimmage, we didn't have any live contact, but Klay is just so happy to be playing, and we're all so happy to see him part of it. So just a really good first day, first couple of days, and good energy as we start to get rolling.
How did Klay look getting out there?
Klay looked great. I mean, you know, shooting the lights out. His team won the daily shooting competition, and you know, he was smiling, laughing, and joking around. It was really fun to see the old Klay back.
Yeah, no.
Sorry.
Go
You don't get 3 in a row.
Finish.
Rookie.
Now your question.
We're not giving a rookie 3. No, I'm just kidding. You got another?
Were Andrew and Draymond in attendance?
Draymond was not. Andrew went through everything.
Is it still just an excused personal absence for Draymond?
Yeah.
With that energy in the air, you have a collection of guys competing for that 15th roster spot, should the Warriors choose to fill it. So whether it's guys who are looking to get their foothold in the league, or try to keep surviving in the league, is there something cutthroat in there? What's it like? What's the vibe right now?
I got almost all of it. What was the last part of the question?
So you have people competing for that 15th roster
Yeah.
spot, and competition can be fierce for guys trying to survive in the league. Is there anything cutthroat at camp right now? Do you like that spirit?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, when you get to this point in the NBA, you know, where those guys are. I mean, Avery and Langston have been in the league for a long time, and Gary has been on the cusp, and you know, they're all veterans. They've all been around, and it's you always have to walk that line. You've got to compete and do everything you can to earn your spot, but you got to support your teammates and be a great teammate, and all 3 of those guys are exactly that. So really fun to see Langston and Avery both looking good out there, and Gary will join us as soon as he's healthy.
What do you think about the people who have returned? Of course, the biggest example would be Andre, but you also have Jordan Bell. I mean, kind of a testament to not burning bridges. You never know where you might end up.
Yeah, it's great to see Jordan. You know, he knows our style, he knows our personnel, our terminology. So he's really a great fit for us, and I thought he had a good day of practice, just like he's been really good all summer long working with our guys. Andre, you know, just so good to have him back, you know, for his leadership and mentoring in the locker room, but also for, you know, everything that he brings on the court. So really fun to finally get started.
Just quick on the Andrew front, no update.
No update.
Okay. With Draymond, you're obviously going to play him a lot more at center this season than you have in the past. Why are you more comfortable now doing that than maybe you had been?
It just feels different. The league feels different to me than 5-6 years ago. It's I don't know, when our personnel is different too, but you know, we had a really good formula when we were winning championships and going to the finals. We didn't have to play Draymond at the 5. You know, we had really good centers, guys like Andrew Bogut and you know, David West and JaVale McGee. So we could play big for good stretches of the game, which was great for our defense, and then kind of hit teams with a small lineup as a counterpunch. And you know, it's different now. There's more and more small lineups out there. our personnel is different. Every team has more shooting, so you gotta cover more ground, which is, something Draymond is really good with. And then, when we're on offense, we wanna have more shooting as well. So, putting him at the 5 and running pick and roll with him, with Steph, and having shooters around those guys, it's pretty tough to guard.
All of the guys kind of competing for that 15th roster spot that Carrick was talking about are guards. I mean, is there just a, kind of going off what you just said, is there a bigger emphasis on getting more depth in the backcourt versus the front court just because of the way that the game is going, or just because you think that that might be the area that your team needs to address more?
I think it'll just come down to what our team looks like by the end of camp. We'll get a really good feel for what we have, what we don't have. I think you can look at our roster and see, where we might be a little thin. So that's why we filled the spots with the players we have. We like all those guys. We like Jordan Bell, as a potential big on our roster. We like the guards that we've brought in. So it really is more wait and see how camp unfolds.
Steve, last year about this time you were talking about how hard Jordan Poole was working. And yesterday he was saying one thing he learned is that the hard work paid off. Feels like he's got like another level of confidence and swag about him. Do you see that? And obviously this small ball he's gonna factor in heavily to that. Do you see him having an increased role?
Yeah. I feel more confident in Jordan than ever. He's been our most consistent worker for 2 years now. You can see the confidence level. He's shooting shots with ease now that maybe he struggled with a couple of years ago because his body is stronger, more fit, more fluid. I think what I've challenged him with this year is to be better defensively, just like he made the leap offensively last year. We want that to continue, but we want him to be able to play with Steph, which means he's gonna have to guard some bigger guys. So he's capable. Rick Celebrini told me he's one of our strongest guys in the weight room. So there's no reason why Jordan can't take the next step in the defensive end too, and that's what we're looking for.
The leap he's made from when you first got him, just if you put that into perspective, the Jordan that you have at your disposal now and the guy you got, which wasn't that long ago, it was a few years.
Yeah, I mean, it's night and day. I mean, it really is. But it's a good reminder to all of us that, not only does work pay off, but so does patience, and that's a reminder to coaches, management, fans, and media, right? It's to everybody. Like, this stuff takes time. We all want James to be great right now. We were in a position with Jordan a year ago where, we weren't sure if he was going to be able to contribute. And through hard work and patience, he's put himself in a position where he's going to be a huge part of the team. He's only 2 years into this. If you look at it from the big picture, 2 years is hardly anything. So I kind of feel we need to give James 2 years and Jonathan and Moses, at least, before we expect too much out of them. But in a lot of ways, Jordan is really a great example to all of us that this stuff takes time, but with patience and work and perseverance, a lot of good stuff can come.
What's poppin', Steve? How you doing?
I love it.
So, Bob said yesterday that Draymond was probably be back in a few days. Do you have a better idea of when he will be back? Like maybe tomorrow or the day after? Do you have any more clarity on that?
I do not. We've been in touch with Draymond over about the last week, and obviously we'll keep his personal stuff private, and but he's got an excused absence until he is ready to come up, and we'll be here working, and we're looking forward to getting him back. But I don't have any updates.
Obviously, you guys have an understanding. You and Draymond as a team, you guys have that. But is it frustrating that he isn't here, considering he is missing a practice?
No, because of the nature of what what's going on. It's like certain things always take precedence over a basketball game, so.
Steve, just to follow back up on Klay, you've talked about it a lot the last couple of years, but what kind of lift does it give everybody else to see him out there again, knocking down shots, and yesterday bouncing around, in good spirits given what he's going through?
Yeah, I mean, part of it is just his spirit and his energy and his joy, and then a big part of it too is, yeah, we got Klay, like a confidence level as a group. We're getting Klay back. That makes us all feel better. And that's the sense that I have from our guys, that it's all of the above.
We're going to talk to Avery and Chris here in a moment. What can you tell us about those guys? What do you like in Avery's game? And same question about Gio's.
Avery's been a pro for a long time, and he's been one of the best on-ball defenders in the league. Great off-ball cutter, good three-point shooter. Very, very good NBA player. So he's only 30, so if he's healthy, he should be in this league for many years to come. Chris, Kenny Atkinson actually first told me about him, probably when he was still with Brooklyn. Kenny and I have stayed in touch over the years, while he was the Brooklyn coach and after, and we talked personnel, and he told me about Chris a while back. He's just a big fan, and I can see why. He's tough, very defensive minded, he's strong. I think smaller guards these days have to be fire hydrants, in order to survive. You've got to be able to guard pick and roll and get into the ball, and Chris does all of that. He's also an excellent passer. Really fun to watch him run pick and roll, so he's a good player.
Steve, over here. With Andrew's uncertain status, wondering how you practice with that. In other words, not knowing whether he'll be available for you for 82 games, do you try and practice around him at times that you have a contingency that you want to activate, or do you do that after you get to that bridge?
Yeah, there's no sense in speculating right now. In an NBA season, what I've learned is a million things happen, and you just adapt on the fly. If you tried to get ready for every contingency, you'd be running around in circles. So Andrew's practicing, he looks great, he's in good spirits. His teammates love him, coaches love him. We're happy that he's in the building, and we're all just working and getting ready for the season, and we'll adapt accordingly.
Follow up. Do you already have sort of an idea of what you want to use, how you want to use Andre in terms of minutes and just where he'll fit in with your rotation?
Well, he'll fit in anywhere we put him. That's the beauty of Andre. I imagine we'll give him nights off during the year. I mean, we were doing that a few years ago. He's not going to play 82. We'll pick his spots. We want him, at his best for the playoffs. But we know we got to get there first, and we've got to develop a good team, and we've got injuries early on. So that's something we're going to have to plan for as we go. But there will definitely be a minutes and a game playing plan that we'll put together with the training staff.
Steve, talking to Klay yesterday after we saw you, he reflected on so many things in the world, and how he grew up a privileged person of color, and he has a better appreciation now for the struggles that so many people go through. And just, he sat in here and talked for a long time on that and many other things. Have you seen that kind of come out of him in the last 2 years, as something he loves so much has been taken away, and he's I don't know if he's broadened his perspective on life, but it sure seems like it.
Yeah, he definitely has. Everybody knows the side of Klay that he has led on over the years. The prankster, the happy-go-lucky guy with the dog, but we've all known that there's great depth to Klay, and it sort of sounds counterintuitive because we all just almost think of him as this caricature in some ways. We just laugh with him, but there's an expression my mom used to use, still waters run deep, you know, and I think it applies to Klay. He's really a deeply emotional person. He may not show it, but he's deeply compassionate and sympathetic, and I think his time away brought him a lot of suffering because the thing he likes to do best was taken away from him, and it's the first time that's ever happened. And so I think while he was away, he had to go through some struggles that probably illuminated some of the struggles that other people have every day. And so it's a pretty natural time to be sort of growing at that age, you know, and emotionally expanding. And none of that surprises me given what we've known about Klay over the years. He's, like I said, a deeply compassionate, aware person. He just doesn't always show it to the world.
I'd like to follow up on Jordan Poole being one of your most consistent workers, or the most, I believe you said. Has that come with additional maturation? And I don't want to call him immature, I'm just calling him young. But have you seen him wrap his arms around what it means to be a pro and do the work?
Yeah, I saw it when the pandemic started a year and a half ago. That's when it all started to happen for him. As soon as we were able to come into the gym, he was in the gym every single day. And he had experienced a rough rookie year. We had to throw him into the deep end. He wasn't ready for it, but we had no choice with all of our injuries, and he saw what he was up against. And it's like, okay, I gotta work, I gotta go to work. And from that moment on, he was the first one in our gym when we opened the gym back up. And he's been, as I said, our most consistent, present worker here in the building. We got a lot of hard workers, but you know, a lot of the guys work at various spots. Jordan's in here every single day, and it's great to see that work pay off because that's what we preach as a coaching staff. So it's nice to be able to point to Jordan and show all the other young guys, you know, this is how it's done.
Steve, we all know vaccines are a hot topic. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar said yesterday he doesn't think players should be allowed on rosters if they're not vaccinated. Is that a position you agree with or have an opinion on?
I believe in the vaccine. Our team believes in it. You know, we are living in a world where everybody is divided. Everything becomes a political tool. You say one thing and it gets weaponized either for you or against you. So you have to navigate all this stuff delicately. So, you know, I would say that we try to treat everybody with respect. Yeah, I think that's all we can do is respect each other and try to communicate on a really sane level and just see where everything goes.
What do you think about the city's mandate that, you know, you guys have to get it, and also the fact that visiting players technically do not?
Well, you know, I'm a basketball coach, so I lean on science, I lean on the experts. We're, I don't know, a year and a half into this thing and people are still dying. People are still getting sick. So whatever the experts suggest, then that's what I would follow along with. This is not my area of expertise, so I just try to base it on the research that's out there, and I support whatever is going to help us all stay safe and get through the pandemic.
If you got 3 new coaches to your staff, how would you describe their roles beyond their titles, and what have you seen so far from the 3 of them?
Well, we've got, Kenny Atkinson, who's got head coaching experience. He's great energy and sort of a contrarian and outside the box thinker, which I really like. I love that, he comes in here with head coaching experience because he knows, what I'm going through each day, and he's been there, and he can give me great advice. Jama is in charge of our player development program. Great energy, great leadership skills. Really done a great job of leading the development team. Brought a lot of energy and charisma and ideas. Dayan brings a lot of expertise, a lot of humor. He's a really, really good guy. He's just a fun-loving, big Serbian. He's got head coaching experience, 7 or 8 years as a head coach in Serbia, working with James every single day. James loves him. So, and then I would be remiss if I didn't mention Chris Weems as well, coming over from Santa Cruz, where he has a couple of years of head coaching experience where he did a phenomenal job. So really excited about the new guys. And I always feel like, everything we do here, the foundation was built before I got here, And I think it's always important to recognize the contributions of every single person, coach, player who've been here for the duration. You go back to Mark Jackson and what he did, those first couple of years, laying a foundation, helping this team believe that they were great. That's a big part of who the team is right now. And so as I go back and think about all the guys who've been here, Alvin Gentry and Luke Walton and Jaron Collins and, down the line, every guy played such a pivotal role in our development in building what's been built. The hard part in this league is that, things go quickly, and you have to constantly be adapting, and so, you've got guys who are leaving, maybe taking head coaching jobs and taking coaches with them, and so you got, some of your best friends are all of a sudden gone. And it's just, it's a weird league like that. And so I really miss the guys who were here last year who are not here. I really miss Jaron Collins and Luke and Theo, and Aaron Miles. What a phenomenal group of guys. And so as we bring in these new guys and embrace their energy and their new ideas and fresh perspective, I always recognize the contributions of the guys who just left, because it's all one big foundation that's been built.
Is it fair to say that for Dayan that James is his #1 priority?
Yeah. That's Dayan has worked with some of the best big guys in the world, and frankly, I think European big guys are more prepared for the NBA than American big guys. They just are. They've got a better development system over there. They're playing professionally earlier in their clubs. They're getting more coaching at an early age than our guys are, and so it's great for us to be able to lean on Dan, who has worked with so many young bigs, to be able to work with James every day and share his wisdom with him.
Klay did everything. I know it was not contact. Is it more than you expected he was going to be able to do?
No, it's exactly what I expected. We'll scrimmage tomorrow, and he won't do that. There won't be any contact, but today's practice, I knew he was going to be able to do everything.
You guys are being careful of him, but is he physically limited at all, like movements or anything?
No.
Not at all.
But I think he said it to you guys yesterday. The next step is contact and rhythm and reaction time, and that takes a while. So while he's not restricted, he's going to need a lot of work.
He seemed to think he was like at least 4 weeks from. Is that your understanding?
Yeah, I'm not even going down that path.
I mean,
Yeah. Raymond was about to have a heart attack.
Exactly. We'll try one thing on Zoom here. to be off. Any questions on Zoom? Any questions on Zoom? Nope. All right, Benjamin Cruz had his opportunity. He was off the.
What about Christos? Christos.
Yeah.
Well done.
We need to get him actually here. We'll have Avery Bradley and Chris up here shortly.
Thanks, Steve.